All right. Finally got this thing squared away here. I know I'm running a little bit late though, but everybody who else is tuning in here, if you are, thanks for watching. You can always catch us on the restream though. As far as the replay back today, let's talk about some things today. But first, before we get started, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. Working hard on this thing, trying to get things caught up here, or at least trying to give my deal on the weekend, towards the end of the week, after I get as much information as I can, at least try to do at least a half hour of this thing here so far. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I honestly appreciate it. Today I got a guest with me, a really good friend of mine, and she was also a student of mine as well. And I basically she's a true sweetheart. I do, and she's she is a firm believer in the Second Amendment. And I'd like to introduce you to Wendy Eldridge. How are you? Whoa, wait a minute. I just hit this thing by accident. Oops. There we go. Well, my finger bumped that. Oops.
Hello.
How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Thank you. I've been trying to get you on for the longest time. I know I hit you up back in the spring, and a bunch of other people, that's dying to get on. And then, like I said, it just took me a couple months to get some other stuff straightened around here. So with this thing that I got going on, it seems like it's quite a bit of stuff though. But how's things been going with you?
Doing great.
Yeah, how's the husband?
Nope.
I see you guys posting, you guys going out, vacation, doing everything. I'm like, dude, I have no idea what a vacation is like because I'm forever working, like all the time. So I keep saying that might be something like on my bucket list one day.
Oh, Mike, you need to take a vacation, even if it's just a little weekend jaunt here or there. You deserve it.
Yeah, I know. I keep saying that, and I got another good friend of mine too. He wants me to come down to South Carolina, which I'm trying to call him and get in touch with him because Hurricane Dorian that's going on down there, and it's going right up the coastline, and so I know they're catching. I don't know how much of the brunt that they caught. I know North Carolina got it, but I think South Carolina got some too. They had some issue with that as well, so I'm trying to get in touch with him.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I got the weather report from my mom this morning, and she said that they fared pretty well.
Oh, okay. I've been trying to catch it in the morning myself as well. Before I leave for work though, but I don't know, how much have you seen lately? Have you caught any news lately? Like basically, like some of the Democrat candidates and some of the things they've been talking about here lately. Since this last random shooting that just happened in Odessa, Texas. Have you heard anything what they've been talking about?
Very little, and it's unfortunate that I'm not a bit more well informed. It just, with life, I just really haven't had a chance to sit down and listen to any of it, really. And I truly am ashamed to say that I haven't paid attention. It just, I don't watch much TV, and
I totally understand. I know life gets busy, believe me, because there's some things that I try to get caught up on myself when I see some, and I jot it down and know this is something I want to talk, and then it's just so many different points and different things that, I know it's tough. It's tough when you got other things going on in life. It's hard to try to stay on top of it if you're not listening to it. Fortunately for part of me during the day, I have, YouTube, and I've got the radio going and stuff like that, so I'm listening to everything and catching some of it as far as highlights of different stuff of what's going on throughout the day. It's just kind of hard to slow down and put it all together, and categorize it like I want to lay this thing out, though, so I try to get caught up myself in it. But I'm going to play this real quick, and I want to hear your opinion. If you can listen to this a little bit here, and then I'm not going to play the whole clip because it's like about 8 minutes. I might dip in and out here, but listen to this here, and then tell me if you can hear it. I don't know. Let me see. Let me get the audio going.
Or how they acquired them. But we do know this is up.
All right, real quick. That was Beto O'Rourke. This is something that he just recently said. Now they're talking about the 4 dead, 21 injured in the random shooting from Odessa to, I believe that was Odessa, Midland, Texas. So what they were talking about here is just recently over Labor Day weekend. Matter of fact, over the weekend. So this is what he's talking about. But he's on CNN, and she's going to ask him a couple things though. And this is, you know me, you know where I stand on this, and I'm sure you stand on it the same way. It just irks me that they mislead the truth so bad. They misinform the population on exactly what this thing is, and when they're calling for gun control and all this, it just irks me. It irks me so bad, you know. But here, let me play a little bit more of this so you can catch this.
Yeah, the rhetoric that we've used, the thoughts and prayers that you just referred to, it has done nothing to stop the epidemic of gun violence. To protect our kids, our families, our fellow Americans in public places, at a Walmart in El Paso where 22 were killed, in Sutherland Springs in a church, 1 or 2 a day all over this country, 100 killed daily in the United States of America.
Okay, that right there is an inflated number. It's a complete exploited, and it's a misleading number on top of that. What do you say about that?
Well, you know, first and foremost, I feel horrible for those families involved. It just, you know, it's an unfortunate situation all the way around, and it's also very unfortunate that we're not getting the truth from all sources of media. You know, we may get a little bit more of a truth from one and a partial truth from another and no truth somewhere else. So as individuals, we need to take it upon ourselves to be fully informed. And as I mentioned earlier, boy, am I ever ashamed that I haven't kept up with either of the incidences. I mean, you know, they happen right here in our own country, and we should all be aware, because this could happen to us at any time. But what's the real cause of this? Is it gun control? No, probably not. Is it more of being more active and more in tune with mental health issues? Probably. But you know, there's so many arguments that could be made with this.
Right.
And again, you know, I couldn't imagine being in that situation as a mom, as a wife. My heart just goes out to those families involved.
Absolutely. And it's like I'm the same way. I feel the same way, because you and I, we know, law-abiding citizens, we don't think this way. And it's like, how can I put this? As far as us standing behind the Second Amendment and believing in it, and the right to keep and bear arms and to defend yourself, somehow you get the media, you get politicians, they blow this thing completely out of proportion, and then they twist it, which drives me nuts, because I think you honestly don't care about children. We absolutely do care about children. We don't want to see innocent lives lost over this. So when they start talking about the real problem is mental health, they don't want to tackle the real problem, but they just want to restrict from you and me. Like this number that, and it drives me nuts, because the number he just said, that 100 people a day die, you know, due to gun violence, and it's like, okay, yeah, but let's break that 100 down a day. 100 die a day. 66 of those are suicides a day out of that 100. The other 38 or 39, or I believe it's like 34, 35, are done by actual murders. I mean, they're actually murders done by criminals or criminally insane people. So when you throw a number, just an inflamed number out there, 100 people a day die, and we need to do something about this, it's like, oh, well, whoa. Let's find out what that 100 is. It's just like when they say there's 30-some thousand, there's like 34, 36,000 people that die a year from gun violence. But they don't tell you that 22,000 of that 30,000 is suicides. Okay, they don't say the other 14, 15, or 16,000 are done by known criminals, which and they still don't even break it down even more that a lot of those murders happen within inner cities that are either black on black crime or gang related gun violent crimes. They don't break any of these numbers down. So when they come after trying to talk about banning AR-15s, it's like, okay, they account for less than 1% of deaths a year. They do. And that's a statistical fact. Even the CDC has took these numbers, and that's government run. So that's what, when people say, well, you've got this news organization saying it, and you got the next one saying it, and the next one saying it, well, it must be true. And it's like, no, no, because if you look and see who it's coming from, they're all in an echo chamber. It's just one is trying to tweak the headline a little bit different than the other one because they want clicks, ratings, everything else. So it just drives me insane. We got to try to break this thing down and explain it. So, but that's part of it here. Let me, first of all, I need to ask you another question though. Since you took my class, have you been practicing? I got you on Facebook over here too. So we're live on YouTube and Facebook. So I got to ask you this question. I'm looking at the camera. I'm asking Chris, have you been practicing?
I have been practicing. I have taken 3 gun safety courses.
Nice.
And the hubs, I brought home all my targets. Yeah. And he bought me this beautiful SIG. I mean, it's beautiful, but the double action, not for this girl. So
yeah.
Which one was it?
Which one was it? Was it a P365? The
oh, I'm not sure. It's a great looking gun. So he ended up with that, and then I think he ended up buying me, I'd have to look, I think it was a Glock.
Yeah.
And I asked for a Smith & Wesson because I do quite well with the Smith & Wesson. The trigger is so friendly, and I really like it.
Nice, nice, nice. Now, did you guys go out and get an AR-15 yet?
I think so.
The long gun. The one you saw. Did you see the video that I posted? I think I remember I posted it on my page, on my tactical POV page. I think it was a slow-mo video I did. Was it, I think, a couple weeks ago? No, I take it back. It was last weekend. I remember that. It was last weekend because 2 weekends ago. I've take that back. It's 2 weekends ago because I did when I got my phone. So I took that with my phone on that. But that's what I was shooting when you that picture there. So I just say, did you guys go out and get one yet? Because I'm an advocate for people going out and exercising their Second Amendment right. Seriously, and you have. My thing is this. I honestly don't want people talked out of what they need and what they don't need. Because we hear that from politicians, media. We hear that all the time. It just bugs me. It's like, who are you to tell me what I need and what I don't need? Especially when this is my right. Okay?
Right. And, so many people have hobbies. Shooting is a hobby. It's a sport. It's a highly competitive sport.
Right.
It's a neat thing to watch. And, who's to say you shouldn't be involved in this hobby and you shouldn't have this and you shouldn't have that? Wait a minute. We work hard. People need an outlet.
Right.
Just to have that balance in their life, whether it's going to the range to shoot or getting to the gym, things like that. If people need an outlet. We don't cultivate our fields. We don't, milk our cows. That's all brought to us now. So these are our outlets, our hobbies, if you will.
Right, right. And that's my big thing that I've been a huge advocate for, a fan for, even. And not only just that, it's just not even just for sport. Because the AR-15 stands for Armalite rifle for the 1,000th time. The media still wants to keep calling it an assault rifle. It was never called an assault rifle. It was never coined that. And the rifle was been around since the 50s. And it was built for civilians. It's called the modern sporting rifle. That's what it is. Okay. The military saw this from Armalite and went to Armorlight and say, we want to buy a contract and get licensing to build that for the military. So people need to understand this. When I hear politicians talk this crap and say that this is weapons of war and everything, it's like, you know what? Swords were weapons of war. Battle axes were weapons of war. You know what I mean? Any blade, any bows and arrows. I mean, all of this stuff is weapons of war. It's just inflammatory language. It drives me nuts. And they want to just stick it to a certain thing, to an AR-15. And it's like, okay, it's just, stop. It doesn't stand for assault rifle. And it's been around, and it was built for civilians. It was never built for the military. The military came later, after it was built, and say, we want licensing to this because we want to build this for our military. We want to produce it for our military. So there's the truth. There's the story in a nutshell behind the AR-15. People need to understand that. It was not built for the military. It was built for civilians first. Okay. So that's just what I'm saying. I encourage everybody to go out and buy one. Buy 2, 3. Hell, I have one. I want 5 more. You know?
Absolutely.
I'm serious. I am. I want 5 or 6 more. If I get my hands on them, I had the money, believe me, I'd buy 5 more, 6 more, 7 more. Mm-hmm. I encourage that.
It's even become harder to buy firearms. Mm-hmm. Certain stores have discontinued carrying firearms. It's becoming ridiculous. Actually, exactly. It is. It just like I said, it's just one of those things that just really bothers me. It bothers me so much because people are not getting the information, and that's the thing. They're not getting all the information. They're only getting spoon-fed bits and pieces from other individuals who, one, have an agenda, two, have no knowledge whatsoever. They're feeding off of the same ones who have an agenda. So, I mean, just trying to get this out in the air and get it opened up, though. So, but real quick, what do you think about in 2020? That's another quick question. What do you think it is going to come down the line here for 2020 for the election? How's it looking for you? Oh my goodness, that's a good question. Of course, the Second Amendment being a big one, and just the overall tax structure, I just feel like, whatever we bring in, and so much of it is just going right out the window for this, that, and the third thing. I mean, prioritize the money, use it wisely. That's what we really want, and get rid of the programs that aren't working. And my goodness, we could all use a tax break.
Yeah. I say the same thing. I have no problems with having extra income in my pocket. Seriously, less taxes, more discretionary income. Let me decide what I want to do with it.
That's right.
And I can go towards charity, donating this and that. I mean, us as citizens, this is another thing people don't realize, that we citizens, private citizens, Americans, we donate to more charities in this country every single year, more than what the government dishes out in other programs is funded. We fund this stuff privately. We do that. That's what we do. And it's just like, God.
I'm very happy to do so. As a matter of fact, I mean, I get a warm and fuzzy inside when I see people helping others, and do I like to help others? Absolutely. Would I like to help more? Yes. Would I be able to do that with more discretionary income? Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. I totally agree 100%. I'm trying to get a better beat on this thing as far as getting these live feeds out to you. Sorry about the background noise. My air conditioner is running, so if you hear it, if you hear that little noise back there, that's what that is. So I apologize for that.
So, Mike, what about you for 2020? What do you think?
Me for 2020, honestly, I'm like you, because the Second Amendment that's my heart and soul. I'm 1,000% believer in it. Me from taking my class, I'm a huge advocate for women getting this trained, honestly, and exercising the right, because maybe you agree with me, your right to defend yourself that's like the great equalizer for women. You know, I mean, that's as far as the way I see it. I mean, we know men are physically stronger. Men can overpower women. It's been proven. It's scientifically proven that most men can. So, what is a great equalizer for a woman to protect herself? It is a gun. It is a way to defend yourself. Okay, defend yourself, your family. Your husband's not always going to be there when you need protection. That's the other thing. So, you know, like I said in class, I'm all for women getting this information and learning how to defend themselves. Absolutely. So, I like I said, 2020. That's number one for me. That's gonna be the number one issue, and I already know what the left is trying to do. I hear it all day, every day, and it's just like, okay, you know. You try to dress it up, you try to sugarcoat it, and you try to put it on. They used the word before. Now they're just flat out coming out saying, you know, we want to ban your guns. We want a mandatory buyback. There's other thing like Beto here is talking about here real quick. Let me click back over to him here. Let me get back up on here.
We're averaging about 300 mass shootings a year. No other country comes close. So yes, this is f***ed up. And if we don't call it out for what it is, if we're not able to speak clearly, if we're not able to act decisively, then we will continue to have this kind of bloodshed in America. And I cannot accept that. And so we're going to speak as defiantly and as strongly as we can, but we're also going to take action. Universal background checks.
Okay. That right there. Okay, universal background checks. So understand what they're trying to say with universal background checks. We already have background checks. You know that.
Correct.
We already have them. And they do work. It's obvious because this man here in Odessa that went on a shooting spree failed a background check. He had a long history, he had a criminal record, a long history of mental illness, and he failed a background check to purchase a firearm. So how he got it illegally from someone who sold it to him. Illegally sold it to him because it was actually an illegally built gun that he got his hands on. So this is information, like I said, everybody has a knee-jerk reaction when something like this happens. Then I was like, you know what, before you make a knee-jerk reaction about this, I'm going to let you wait and get more information because more of it's going to come out, and then you start putting the pieces together going, wait a minute, whoa. At first it looks at one thing, and then about a week later it's like, hold up. What is all of this that's going along with this? You know, nobody knew all this until about, 3 days ago when I talked about this? And it's like, wait a minute, he failed a background check, so the background checks work. How did he get his hands on a gun? How does any criminal get his hands on a gun? You know? Hold on one second.
And flag laws and into the sales of weapons of war and buying those AK-47s and AR-15s back so that they cannot be used against our fellow Americans.
Okay, now, the buyback deal. The buyback deal. Explain to me how the government is going to come and want you to give up your AR-15 or AK-47 that you purchased legally. How do they want to come to you and say, we want you to sell this back to us? And it doesn't make any sense because the government never owned it to begin with. So what does that mean? So you want me to turn in my AR-15 or my AK-47 that I legally bought and owned? You give me a fraction of the money that I paid for it, which you're giving me back tax dollars, my tax dollars back for what I paid for it. Okay.
Right.
And then eventually you'll get my tax dollars back that you're giving me for it. You'll get it back again from me in taxes. So this is
time out.
Right. I mean, I don't know about you, but to me that sounds insane. That sounds absolutely insane. It doesn't make it a bit of sense. It's like, okay, I'm gonna sell you back my gun that you never owned with tax dollars. It's like I might as well just hand you my gun, and then hand you over some money for it too at the same time.
Right.
You know. But this is it. It's not just him. It's the same thing. And talking about national registration for a firearm, you know, it's the same thing. Cory Booker said this. I got him up here too. I'm at the piece in. Because I don't know about you, but Cory Booker absolutely just really gets under my skin. I don't like that dude. I really don't like him. wide-eyed Spartacus. I can't stand it. Dude. He just rubs me the wrong way so bad. He is so fake. I mean, they're all frauds. Every one of them are frauds over there. But there's a couple of them. They just really, really rub me raw. They rub me so bad. And he's one of them. Cory Booker is one of them. He is one of the biggest frauds because as far as him talking about trying to connect with the community or whoever he's connecting to, that man has never connected to the community. Both his parents were IBM executives, okay, and he grew up in an affluent neighborhood. So stop, man. You can't relate, okay? And on top of that, I did a little research. I did my own research on him too, and looked at his record, his crime record. Yeah, his crime record when he was mayor for New York for 7 years, from 2006 to 2013. I looked up his record, how he handled crime. It's pretty pathetic. It's actually pretty bad. It's pretty bad. So, and then it comes to, well, just like you need a license to drive a car, it should be a federal license, to own a firearm. It's like, well, sorry, because that doesn't work. Driving's a privilege. My Second Amendment is my right. That's my God-given right, being born. So there's two totally different things. Have nothing to do with each other at all. But this is the thing that drives me nuts. I could drag this thing out a little bit, but I don't want to drag this out much longer here. Wendy, I'm going to let you go because I know you got things going on here, and I got some other stuff to finish up here as well. But I do want to thank you so much for coming on with me.
Thank you, Mike. And thank you for keeping everybody informed. I always enjoy your videos, especially everything that you talk about for the Second Amendment. And, I want to give you a shout out. Anybody who hasn't taken a concealed carry class, this is your guy. I was telling a young lady today, I said, if you're thinking about getting a concealed carry, you have to call Mike Bishop. You can find him on Facebook, all the social media channels. He's there, and what an amazing instructor. I felt so comfortable, and you explained everything, and you even allowed me to have a trigger finger break.
That's right, I did, because I believe it was a 380 that you tried. Did you qualify with a 380? I think, was it, or was it
I think so,
a subcompact 9? Yeah. And I know. Mm-hmm. And you were like, okay, my fingers get tired. I'm like, I get it. I understand.
but then you were great. You're like, come on, we got to get it going.
Load
that gun.
Honestly, I'll have to try to dig that up. I think I still have it because remember I recorded a lot of that too, and I think I still I can't make any promise, but I think I still have some of that footage. And that's been how long ago now? That's been. Was that 3 years ago? 4 years ago? About 4 years ago.
It is because, I'm up for renewal next year.
Yeah. So, yep. So I was gonna say I had before. I'm close. Wow, coming up 5 years already. Wow, man, time is flying. Jesus. Wow. Yeah. It's moving. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. Honestly, I do. And
always happy to share your goodness, Mike. You just do a fabulous job.
Thank you so much. I try. I love this. I do. I absolutely.
Yes, you do.
My past. You see it because it's nothing. It's not a show, and I don't put on anything. I'm truly. I am truly. This is me. This is what I'm about. So outside of being a meathead in the gym sometimes, and even those days starting to slow down. Yeah, those days are starting to slow down though, because old man is starting to feel some of that stuff for pounding that heavy iron for years. I'm starting to feel it.
Keep on moving.
Yeah, it's just keep moving, keep the blood moving right now. And now I'm just thinking about, okay, please, I don't want to get hurt anymore.
Right.
So
we just got to add a few more stretches in between sets, or on the weekend you got to stretch a little longer.
Yeah, I'm trying to consolidate that workout. How I'm really trying to hurry up and get it in and shrink it down a little bit as much as I can. Because I'm like going. So I'm just like,
right.
Man. So I'm trying. I'm getting it there. You guys, hey. Thanks for tuning in on this. If you check out my description, you can be a member of my Patreon page as well, because I'm on Patreon. Also, if you want to make a donation to my channel, you can catch me in the link for PayPal. It's a one-time donation, it's tax-free. And also, you guys can look at my T-shirts. I have them on Spreadshirt and Teespring. You can look at some of the logos that I have. I know I haven't had a chance to promote and post up the links to those lately here. I'm trying my best here. It's hard being a one-man show and doing everything under the sun.
Well, you're rocking it.
I appreciate it. I really do. But until then, Wendy, I will definitely have you back on again for sure. So make sure you guys stay posted on my channel too, not just here on YouTube, but also everything's still the same for Instagram. You can follow links in the description for that as well. And what do I have coming up here? I'm trying to do this 8 o'clock on Fridays because this is the only time really that the open time during the week that I can do this. You know, on the weekend, man, I'm gone all day filming. So whenever the weather's nice. So, but anyway, that's it for today's show. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and as always, what do I always say, Wendy? You remember what I say on my videos?
Oh, I'm so bad.
Huh?
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Just always remember, being armed is a mindset, not just a physical condition. Got it?
Got it.
All right. I'll see everybody next time.